That's what I had to do because that was the first time too.
Alright, so we left off getting ready to dig into math. I know it's late, probably not the best time of the night to do math. Sorry, we're doing it anyway. So we're going to qualify our buyers, okay? This is not, it's not hard math from doing it, it's a little more of a conceptual math. As I mentioned, you guys have that math book. It has the T-bar in it. It has what they call the circle math. You can apply that T-bar to most everything. I'm not going to teach it in such a way that it applies to everything. If you love it, use it. For me, the math in this class is application math. It's how do I get something? How do I figure that out? And so I need to know how to figure that out. It comes to me more of a rationale. How do I get there? How do I get from A to B? But if you just want to if you're just good with numbers, do the numbers. That's okay. So here's a problem. I'll give you a quick second to work on it. Buyer seeking conventional loan requires 28-36% ratios, as we talked about. Earns $55,000 a year. Interested in a home with a pity payment of $1,250. The mortgage payment, you have a pity payment. In addition, she has $350 in monthly revolving debt. Which of the following is true? Let's walk through this one together. I'll give you another one in a second because I know you love them. What's our first step here?
Income?
Yeah, I like. Let's figure out her gross income first, okay? Because we had to figure out how much per month she makes. But she makes $55,000 a year. We don't need a year.
So divided by 12.
So let's divide by 12. Figure out what's her monthly gross. 4583. 33. So she makes $45.83 a month. Okay. Now, the way this math works, it says under these 28 and 36% ratios that of the amount of money that I make per month, my gross income, this is like what we would get if they didn't take all the junk out of it, right? So out of, and by the way, gross income is before tax, right? It's before everything comes out. It's the money we wish we got, but then we get our paycheck and it's like, so of this gross income, that's always what we're going to work with. The 28-36% ratios that are mentioned in this conventional mortgage says that 28% of that can be my mortgage payment. I can afford up to 28% of that. So that's real easy, right? Just take this times 28%. What is that? 1283. 33. So 1,283.33 is the amount of mortgage that I could afford under a 28% ratio. That was the easy one. Everybody follow that one? So now under the 36% ratio, it says that I can afford up to 36% of this. So what's 36% times that amount? 1650.
49.99, so 50.
Yeah, let's go 1650. Okay, so 1650 is the amount that is 36% of this. Okay, but I can't. This has to be inclusive of my mortgage and my revolving debt. Okay. So how can I figure that out? Because I got what, $350 in revolving debt?
2,000 something.
So 36% of my total income would be my mortgage payment and my revolving debt. So what's my mortgage payment? $1,250. And I add the $350 to get $1,650 or $1,600. Sorry, $1,600. And this is what we call my total debt. So my total debts with this mortgage plus my total expenses per month would run me $1,600 a month. Follow me so far? Mm-hmm. I can afford up to 36% of my total income. So is $1,600 less or more than $1,650? Less. So I can afford this, right? Mm-hmm. Is $1,283 a month less than $1,250?
No.
Or I'm sorry, more. Because I can afford up to $1,283, right? So can I afford a $1,250 mortgage? Yes. So we qualify under the 28 and the 36% mortgage.
Okay, 36 has to be both. The 28 is just one.
Nailed it. Everybody follow what I did there? So to me, this is not a math formula. The T-bar will walk you through this all day long. This is to me, how much can I afford, and is my mortgage payment within those confines? You have to qualify for both. If it was one or the other, loan denied. If it's both, loan is good. Everybody follow? Let's do one more. Your turn. Go for it. did it?
Yeah.
I do it?
Same deal.
Do you want to show them a different way? I know you've got one.
I did basically the same.
Same thing? Okay. I'll give you a second. If you want to, I'll give you a minute for it. I'll give you a minute for it. I'll give you the red marker because you're a teacher. Did y'all have school up there this week?
Yeah.
You had some mudslides.
A little bit.
Did you?
Better than this last.
Not as bad as last one. Oh, really?
Well, not last year. Last school year, back in March and April.
Give him another minute. Give him another minute. So as every problem, what's the first step? We gotta take annual income, break it down into monthly. So that's all it's done here, taking the 45,000 divided by 12 to get a monthly income.
So you got 14.
So we know now our gross monthly income is $3,750.
Makes that, doesn't make that.
Everybody okay with that so far? What's the next step?
No.
Qualifying under the
Oh, yeah.
2028.
You can't get
Yeah,
it
so let's look at the 28, because that was easy. So 3750 times the 28%, what do we get?
250.
What did it help me out?
1050.
1050? So 1050 is the amount of mortgage payment we would be able to afford under the housing ratio, right?
And he
Qualifies.
So 1050 is the mortgage payment, so we're good there. I can afford 1050, mortgage payment is 1050.
1350.
So if we do it by the 36%, now it's 1350, but that's got to include both our debts. So let's take our mortgage payment of 1050, add in our 350 of revolving debt. We have $1,400 of monthly expenses if we buy this house. $1,400 is too high. It's higher than what I could afford the 1350. I could afford 1350, 1,400 and more. I only qualify under the housing, so the answer there is what?
So
Housing only, which is
if
A, I believe.
they're that
You might
close
as well
like
pay
that,
down
like, is
$50
there anything they can do?
Yeah, what would they do here to fix
Pay
this?
the $50?
Yeah, pay off that $350.
That's it?
Then I'm good.
Why not feel like it was much complicated?
That's what the lender, that's what Natalie was saying. Let me have some conversations with
Yes,
your folks,
that's-
because if I see something like that, most people in automated system reject it. You're not gonna get that loan. But if I look at your whole picture, I would tell you, hey, why don't we pay that off? Or instead of paying extra here, pay extra over there.
Yeah.
Good.
I also thought about it this way. You get 8% difference.
Yep.
And give you bigger.
So if you did 8%, you can only have 300 versus 350.
In revolving debt.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
What'd you do?
He just figured out how much of
That's
this is revolving
8%
debt.
difference.
It must be
So
great
it's-
being a math teacher. I would have never thought about doing that.
I wouldn't have ordinance, I wouldn't have.
Awesome. Any questions?
Like, he just made that so easy.
Nailed it. I owned it. I love it.
That's crazy.
Alright, questions on that?
Good job.
Let's do another one.
Real estate match.
Fat fingered it.
Right.
We need a study group.
Come on.
That one for
I know,
real
he's way
You
far
only drive
away.
an hour and 15 minutes.
Here we go. Alright.
Oh, we can see the change of color.
So here,
Just running.
That's the
We just
same
did that
one.
one. So
Yeah.
in this problem, here's what we did. We knew how much we made, right? We knew what the mortgage payment would be, and we worked from that. What if I want to know how much house I can afford? I don't know what the mortgage payment is yet. I want to know how much of a mortgage payment could I afford. So same situation, and so this time we're going to take the kind of max total debt less your loan, long-term debt. It's your max pity payment. Refer to this slide in just a second. It makes more sense when we do it. So other debts are obviously going to increase your mortgage amount. So let's look at another example where we're trying to figure out how much can I afford. Not do I qualify, but how much can I qualify. So in this example, it says the buyers obtained a conventional loan that requires 28-36% ratios. Okay? Always use 28-36% ratios in a conventional unless they tell you otherwise, and they may. They may give you different percentages. He earns $75,000 a year. much does he make a month?
6250.
$62.50 is my monthly gross. Monthly gross. All right. So from that, if I'm doing a 28% housing ratio, he says he earns $75,000 a year, $650 a month revolving debt. What's his max PD payment? I want you to take your pen. I want you to underline, circle max, maximum. Okay? That's going to be a very important word in this problem, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So now let's go through our math. If we do our 28% ratio here, what's 28% of the 6,200? 1750.
Yes.
So there's my 28% mortgage. What's my 36%? 2250, right? But I have to account for some debts, right? So this 2250 is the most amount I can pay with my mortgage payment and my total debts, right? Follow me so far? So in this case, I know how much my debts are. How much are they?
650.
So I need to just subtract those out. So what's 2250 minus 650?
1600.
1600 even. So now, if my mortgage payment is 1600 and I have 650 in revolving debt, I would be at or below 36% of my debt. Does that make sense? So we have two numbers here. Two ways to look at this. One, you have a 50-50 chance of getting it right. Two, you can remember this very simple rule. If the question says, what's the maximum, choose the smaller number. What's our smallest number?
1600.
That's your answer. Because if I qualify here, I automatically qualify here. Because remember, I had to qualify for both. The lesser number is my limiting factor. So if the question asks for what's the max, choose the lower number. Two-part question, two parts of the trick. Remembering to back out your debts here and choose the lower of the two numbers. You try. This one's a little different. It gave you different ratios. Remember that. Same math otherwise. Anybody want to show us? So everybody jump at once. It's the blue one. You can use the blue one if you want. You don't have to use the red marker. I'll let you use the red marker. You don't have to. I like the blue one personally. Red feels a little bit abrasive. They tell us teachers not to use red. Hurts people's feelings.
Okay, bro, I gotta get some.
I'm gonna mark your test. I'll put red just so you know. I'd fully use whatever I have now. Alright, so what's our first step? As always, let's get our monthly income. We got $100,000 a year. How much do we make a month? $83.33, is that right?
Yes.
If I can write correctly. $83 33. So this is our monthly income. Okay. Now it doesn't give us 28.36. What does it give us? 33.38. So let's do 33%. What is that? 27.50. All right. So that one was easy. All right. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. So now we have to get to the 33% or 38%. What's 38%? 31.67. Okay. But we have debts. What else? What debts do we have? Yeah, we got 700 total because it says 250. Well, and that's actually I should pause. I won't fault you for doing it this way, but be careful because the way this question reads is it says that your revolving debt is 450, which includes the 250 in the car because it says 450 per month, of which 250 is the car payment. Or it actually says 250 in the car payment of 450 per month.
Has an outstanding student loan of
No, I'm sorry, the application. Okay, you're right. This one doesn't, so it is set. But you have to watch that because there are questions that will give you. I have an outstanding of 700.
$250 period, not a month like the car.
So the applicant has an outstanding student loan of 250
And
and
car payment of
and a car payment of 450 per month. I don't really care how you did this because this question is not super specific. Some people would have dropped the 250 and said, yeah, that's the balance, but it's not, it's a payment. And a car payment of 450. So we're going to just assume, as I'm sure most of you did, we're just going to add them together and assume they're both math, or both debt, long-term debts. Both math. They are both math. So what is this? 4, 5, 6, so 250 and what?
450.
And 450. So we got $700 in debts, right? And this is our ratio. So, what's my next move? What am I going to do here?
Subtract it.
From what?
The 3167.
So if I take this 3167 and minus out my 700, what does that give me?
2467.
2467. What number is this?
The lower number. The maximum amount.
This is my max what?
Pity.
That's my max mortgage payment. So, in reverse, if I can pay this mortgage and these debts, it should be less than my 36%. If I add these two up, it should be this or less, meaning I would qualify, right, 38% in this case. But now what does the question ask?
Maximum.
So what is the maximum? What did I tell you when it asks? When it says the max, you choose the smaller number. Which one's the smaller number?
2467.
So the max would be A, 2467. Nailed it like a ninja. Look at you.
Did you see that?
I did. I saw that. It was so fast. I kept paying.
Didn't mean to do it. Is that
How you feel about that? You feel okay with some math tonight?
Isn't
Isn't that hard, right? Isn't that hard?
All of it was just this.
Isn't that hard? Now, last step of this, and we'll do it same, very similar process, a little bit different. Because in this case, it's kind of interesting. I want to buy a house. I just need to know how much money I need to make to get it. Because this comes up a lot. I'm going to go get me a job so I can buy that house. Okay, you do that, contact. So the same breakout, 28-36% ratios, but then you're going to divide the payment by this 28 or 36% ratio respectively if it's a conventional mortgage, which it is. So let's try one. So in these cases, we've had how much money we were making. The question here is work it in reverse to figure out how much money you need to make.
This is why people freak out with word problems.
Very true. And
That's
honestly,
working backwards.
well, your exam's got some long word problems, I ain't gonna lie. So, y'all wanna work through it together? You wanna take a second try? You wanna do it again?
Together.
All right. Walk me through, what can I do here? So buyers seeking conventional loan, 28-36% ratios, right? So we got 28-36%. They are purchasing or wanting to purchase a home, $400,000 with a 20% down at 4.25 for a 30-year interest with a factor of 4.92. Do we need all this information?
So you take off the 20% down, so
We need a couple of parts of this information. First of all, how much of a mortgage are we going to have? What's our loan amount?
240.
So the purchase is $400,000. How much money are we putting down? So we only need 80% of the 400,000, right?
Yes.
What is that?
320.
320. So that is our loan amount. Okay, that's important. Loan amount is important. Purchase price, not so much. Okay, sorry, it's kind of hard to flip back and forth. I've been meaning to take these stupid doors off, but long story. So that's our loan amount. What else we need to know? Do we have anywhere in here where they gave us our mortgage payment? Yeah, can we figure out what our pity payment is? What's pity payment? Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? Can we figure it out with the information they've given us? Sure can.
He's the problem.
So, remember, our pity is what? Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Did they give us tax and insurance?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. $46.20. That was easy. That's what I pay a month, right?
No, that's
I hope not. If you're paying $4,620 a month, we got a problem. So let's divide that by 12. That's $385 per month. So of my pity payment, I already know half of it is $385 a month. What I now need is my principal and interest. How can we figure out principal and interest based on the information they've given us?
320 times 4.92. Is that what that was?
I think it is. So our loan amount times what? What information do we need? What is that? What's that called? Not the interest rate,
The factor.
the factor. Did they give us the interest rate?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we need it?
No.
No, not today. We could use it, not today though. We just need our factor. So now, what do we need to do with this? We actually don't multiply it times the factor.
Divided by 1,000.
We divide it by 1,000 first. Loan amount divided by 1,000 is what? Oops, 320 times the factor, which the factor in this case we said is hiding 4.92. 4.92. Now what is that? 1,574 and 40. What number did I just find? Principal and interest on my monthly mortgage payment. So of the pity payment, now I have principal and interest and taxes and insurance. And what is that?
1959.40.
1959.40. And that, my friends, is my pity payment. I'm done, right?
Nope.
I'm not? That seemed like a lot of work. I should be done here. Does the question not ask us what's the pity payment? No. What did the question? This is a test taking technique too, guys. I keep coming back to it. Read what the question's at. You'll be super proud that you got this. And this might even be one of the answers. You always need to go back and read what it's asking. What is the minimum monthly income required to qualify to get this loan under a 28-36% ratio? So we have this 28-36% ratio. So what can I do with this? Now remember, historically we took our gross income and times it times the 28-36%, right? So in this case we are starting with the end. How can we get backwards? If we times the other way, we should divide. So if we divided this by 28%, what is that? 699,785. Okay?
No.
No? Nope, that's too many digits.
Yeah.
What is that?
$6,995.85.
Sorry, 85 cents. That's too much. That's a lot.
86 cents.
86. There we go. Okay? So this is one monthly income, right? That's a monthly gross. So now in reverse, can I think this through? If my monthly gross income is $69.98, can I afford a monthly payment of $19.59 under a 20% ratio? You can check it, right? By the way, this is going to be one of the 4 multiple choice answers. Just saying, you can check it that way. So now what do I do with this 36? Same thing. Divide by 36%. And what is that? 5,442.78. You could round that up. Am I done now?
No, I'm sure we're not. The buyer has $500 per month of long-term debt obligations.
So, in that case,
You have to
You would
add
add
the
it.
$500 to the 1959 first.
and that's exactly right. Because think this in reverse. This would be 36% of my totaling, or of my income was this. Then 36% would be my mortgage payment, but we don't. 36% has to be my mortgage payment plus my other debts. So in this case, we should add our debts. What was our total debts? 500. And what is that?
You add it to the 1959?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Because see, the 36% ratio says how much do I have to make to qualify to make my mortgage payment and pay my bills. So what is that number? 24.59, 40. So here is the number that I divide by 36. So this number is divided by 36 because this number is my mortgage payment plus my debts. And 36% has to include both of those. You follow? So here it's 28%, no problem. When we have total debts, we have to add it to our mortgage payment because we have to pay those bills too and still be at or below 36%. And what number is that?
68, 31, 67.
All right. Now, what's the question asked?
What's the
Minimum monthly income
And
required.
I told you earlier,
69.
maximum says choose the lower, minimum
Choose the higher.
choose the higher. Which is our higher number?
Then you need to round it to the
Round it to the nearest 100,
6,998.
$7,000. You said divide it by the 36%?
Yep. So here you have to take your mortgage payment, your petty payment, and add your debt. Because the 36% has to include me paying both of these.
Yeah.
So if you take this and add them up, you get this number here, divided by your 36 to get that number. And as we said, the max, you choose the lower number. The minimum, you choose the higher number. The trick to this one is remembering to add in your other debts before you do your 36%. It's a lot of steps.
So now this is right.
So which one?
So now this one, yeah.
True story, I ain't gonna do this.
So wait, which one's the answer?
Well, it doesn't give you any, but the answer, the 28% ratio, the 28, which by the way,
I was drawing arrows.
another thing to watch. What if this had said how much annual income? Watch your units. So here, if it had said annual, you may have to multiply that times 12 to figure out how much you got to make per year to get that loan. Easy enough?
No.
Do you see what I said earlier though at your break? Of the 14 math problems, some of them are going to be easier than others. The first two were much easier. Don't spend 4 hours studying for this problem. Don't spend 4 hours working on this problem. If you love math, this is a slam dunk for you. Let's try one more. Let's do that, and then we'll take a break. Let's see how you do this time. You go. Ready, go. Ready, go, 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 go. 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 Do it. Are you done?
C. The answer is C.
When in doubt, truly go with C. Actually,
The book
don't.
tells you that.
Is
Nope.
that really?
When in doubt, pick a letter and go with it. Honestly, it's the consistency because the statistics show that if you choose the same one, the odds are high you'll get some of them. If you choose a random guessing, the odds are actually possible you miss them all. Yeah. So if you're going to choose, pick a C, pick a B.
It's really round. Looks fine.
I would go with C.
Statistically, you'll get
It looks
1/4 of those
stressful.
right.
I like C. It's round.
I'll take it. So I guess go pick B on all the math questions.
She's like,
I've got
One
more
more
than
on
C.
the
But it's not going to be a baby. It's going to
final
be a baby.
exam
It's
for
only got one
schools,
bone,
you'll
not
pass.
two. Are they not capitals?
yeah.
No, I don't think
This
they're
is boot camp.
capitals. I don't know.
How we doing? Y'all ain't even trying. You're like, screw it.
This is what I chose to skip.
Come back to.
Take the words out of my mouth.
Darn it.
Give it a try. Even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while.
That's a clean way to say that.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Good Lord, are there like 3 different parts to?
Maybe.
Okay, you're almost. So let's go back. Why did you divide by this? Because I was on
It's just a
my
formula for using
The
factors.
7
Take
months thing.
null
That's
amount.
something you learned
Throwing
last week.
me.
We did.
Okay. Last
Actually,
week I thought it was
think
weeks
it
ago.
was
A couple weeks ago.
They-
Yeah, it was a while ago. Sorry.
Don't do that.
That's why we
I
forgot.
don't think it's back.
I was like, you were here.
We forgot about it. That's why.
Moving on.
We practiced it.
Yeah, okay.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I nailed the first part, if that helps,
Right?
steps.
Halfway there. You know that math, when you work it out and you're like, I got 7,000 and the closest answer was 40. Look at that.
Fuck, man.
Okay. So what is that? That's P-I-T-I. Pretty young.
Yearly, no matter.
Oh, yeah, right, because that's what it was. Would you, you were just telling me a different number. What were you telling me?
It'll be,
What did I take?
Close. You're off by about 2.
Where did this
What'd you
come
get?
from? Where did this come from?
Yeah, my guess is if you
Where did
count
I get this
for
from?
this one.
Oh, it was in the problem.
Yeah, so you did include that.
Okay, so that was,
Oh, I know why.
was the tax and
Oh.
insurance.
There's
Taxes,
that.
insurance.
I didn't use that.
Insurance.
No, it's actually still this number. This is that
Yeah.
problem I was telling
That's
you.
what I did.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Like that, like 12.
You didn't
I
ask
said,
me that.
wait a second, I might have edited it.
Yeah.
I added
Is
this
this-
last one in instead.
And I'll give you kind of a hint on this one, guys, because this one is the tricky one, because I was alluding to it earlier. It shows you that you got $800 per month. The next line says 250 of which. So that $800 a month includes the 250. The question is asking you, do you need to pull out that 250 or do you leave it in? And what do you do with it?
If it's something that's greater than 6
Will you
months.
come look at this?
You're gonna count it, yeah. So you just work with the 800. So we know that 250 is gonna remain in. We're not, if it was less than 6 months, like 5 months, we would pull that 250 out. We do 800 minus 250. But we don't need to, we're gonna leave it in at 800. So you don't need to add the 8 and 250, it's just 800. Still got it?
Okay. What is the one?
Check mine out, make sure I'm not.
So those do you go with the bigger number? Since I thought minimum.
Is that,
How do you know what's just the answer?
you go with the smallest one?
I thought that was for the maximum question. See, that's why I was like, what's the answer for that one on the board while I was drawing the arrows? Missed all that.
Me being me, I would go with the maximum, since it's
Yeah.
a.
Ugh, I feel like that's the answer. You should go another one. Actually, I'm gonna be able to follow this later.
That ain't right. I did 17. Oh, shit.
What you did,
Oh,
you rounded the month and multiplied, probably.
probably.
Wait, so how?
Because
do
I
you
ended up
know
with
which
about
number to
2,000 less than you. How did I get that? Let's see, I did
No, if I round the month, I get higher.
250 times.
Okay.
Did you do full 250?
Will you?
Did you do the full mortgage amount of 250?
That's my bad.
There you go. That's the difference.
What
Okay.
was the answer?
Yep.
So let's walk through it. Good question.
Yep.
All right, so
This is it.
real quick, let's go see how we do. So we're a couple of facets to this problem, right? First of all, we got 28-36% ratios. That's easy to handle. Remember, loan amount is more important than purchase price. We're not talking about purchase price here. So we're doing $250,000 purchase price, but we're putting 5% down. So how much are we borrowing?
237.5.
Yeah, so take that 250 times 95% is what? Or minus 5, I don't care.
237.5.
237,500 is our loan amount. Okay, everybody follow me so far? So if we're getting a 237,500 loan amount, this is how we're going to figure out our factor or our mortgage payment based on this divided by 1,000. What? 23750 times our factor, which is what is it?
5.84.
5.84.
So 1387.
1387 even.
Yeah.
So this is our principal and interest. Everybody follow? Cool. Y'all rocking it. Now, how do I get my taxes and insurance?
3380 divided by 12.
3380 divided by 12 is
281.67.
281.
67.
66. This is my taxes and insurance. So if I put these together for my pity, 1668, 66. So there's my pity payment. Everybody follow that far?
Yep.
Rocked it? Cool. Everybody feel good about that much? Wouldn't it be awesome if we were done? We're not done though. Because in this case we've got the ratios, right? So what are we going to do with our 28%? Yeah, let's divide. And what is that?
59.60.
59, 59?
That's where I'm messing up at. I multiply.
50.
It don't matter, you gonna round it.
You're going to round it, so it doesn't matter. But that is my, this is my monthly gross income that I have to afford this mortgage payment. Now remember from our last problem, we got to do a little something on the other side of this. We got to add that debt. Now, as I told you in the kind of little hint there, you don't need to worry about that 250. We're not. If this had been 250 in less than 5 months or less, then we would back it out of that 800. Because the way the problem reads is it's total of 800, which includes 250 of a car payment, but that car payment is not close to being paid off. Again, a good lender should be like, pay a couple extra payments. Let's pay that thing down a little bit so that we get it down to less than a 5-month debt. But in this case, we don't need to back it out, so we do have to account for it. So we have to make our mortgage payment here, our pity payment, plus our other debts of 800. So we're going to add those together. What is that? 2468. 66. Now we can do what?
Multiply by 12.
Divide by 36%. And what is that?
58.57.
68.57. 38. Now, the question says, what is my minimum? Circle, underline minimum. Minimum, if it asks for the minimum, you choose the higher number. Now, that's not the answer, is it? Why? There you go, watch your units. Times 12. What is that? 82, what's the change? 82,800. Rounded to the nearest hundred. There you go. That is your answer. Right? That should be 82.
83.3.
Is it 82.3? Yeah, it is 82.3. Yep, sorry. 82,300. There you go. Yeah, just just to the nearest. By the way, it's tens, hundredths, or tens and hundreds, so that would be your nearest hundred, rounded to the nearest hundred. So, questions?
You rounded up 1,600.
Was that piece of cake?
Yeah.
Gotta remember to divide instead of multiply though.
You do have extra in your math book, right? So if this is not fun, spend a little time in the math book. If you don't love it, that's okay. Do not spend the next 4 hours studying this problem. I would much rather you spend the next 4 hours on pages 16 through 32 in the Relink document.
23.
Now, when you're looking for
23, sorry, what did I say? 30.
32.
No, I'm dyslexic. Yeah.
when you're looking for the income, this is the way you work the problem.
Yep.
Because that's what threw me off, because I'm like, why are we dividing?
Yeah, and it's really rare. Like, how many? I want to buy a house and the mortgage payment's $1,700. How much money do I have to make? Why would we ever need to know that? You already got the job. You got a job. If you don't have a job, you don't need to be talking about buying a house.
How much money do I need to pay myself?
Now that might be true. How much money do I need to pay myself to get that house? And you might actually do that math one day. I'm not gonna say that I don't know that. All right, questions on that? If not, we're a little overdue for your break. Go hit the oxygenation station.